I thought the most important part of tonight was Hillary Clinton's speech. And it's kind of a weird thing to say, right? Because she's losing by 21 points. It was a really bad night for her. Why is this so relevant? Well, it's because, look, it's for all the reasons that we complain about her. She's a standard politician, I'd say. She's chameleon. She'll, adapt to whatever her environment is. She's a lifelong Cubs fan, and then now a lifelong Yankees fan. Well, she's trying to run for Senate in New York. You've seen it 1,000 times. Okay, so what did the chameleon do tonight? Well, she almost completely adapted to and adopted Bernie Sanders' campaign.
Yeah.
So she came out, first thing she's like, "Want to get money out of politics?" After she's been saying for a week, "Come on, money in politics is not that big a deal." So I took a lot of money from Goldman. It didn't influence me at all. It doesn't influence anybody. How dare you run this artful smear against me?
Follow-up question,
Right.
What is wrong with Citizens United? That money has no effect on politicians, so why do anything about it?
Right. But it doesn't matter because she's changed, right? So does she actually change any of her views? What are her actual views? I have no freaking idea, right? So was she really against gay marriage until 2013? No way, no way. Because I believe that if you could find it in her core, it is pretty progressive. So you're never going to convince me that she was against gay marriage before 2013, but it was convenient politically to be against it until 2013, and then convenient to switch. But the most important thing tonight is that apparently the Clinton political machine has decided the convenient and correct message is, let's get money out of politics. And even Bernie Sanders in his speech, yes, he talked a lot about income inequality, which was his main theme starting the campaign. But he started with getting money out of politics. That has become the #1 theme. You're welcome, America.
So I want to add to what you said, because I think you made a really good point about Hillary adapting to, the political climate and saying things that are popular. It reminds me a lot of President Obama, to be honest with you. He's the kind of person who, aside from healthcare reform, likes to look at polls and makes decisions based on what public opinion is. So gun control is one of those things, right? He waited until the polls indicated that the majority of Americans are in favor of background checks to come out strong in favor of gun control. That's not the kind of leader I want. Hillary Clinton does the same thing. She waits until the political climate says that she needs to say A, B, and C. I want a leader, right? I don't want someone who goes in there and waits until public opinion is going to side with whatever they want to preach in order to, speak out against certain issues. Bernie Sanders spoke out about money in politics, not only because it resonates with most Americans, but because he wants to be a leader on that issue. And he realizes that that's the one issue that impacts every other political problem that we have.
Yeah.
Well, we've been in and some of this is probably, the fact that, how old are you now?
29.
29. But, whatever. I'm about to turn
29sies.
49. I'm going to, I got 20 years on you. And that's like, it's 5 extra elections that I've been a grown-up for, right? And what I know is that what gets borne out is that the system creates a certain kind of politician, and it creates a timidity and a carefulness in your approach that it's led to we've had some great presidents who came out of that. And we've had some really timid presidents, and we've had some who are a mixed bag, like Obama, who came out timid and then got less timid, right? But, I don't know what caused it, what changed it. Maybe it's the explosion of social media and just the access to information more readily. But it's different now.
Yes.
Maybe. And maybe this is a fad. Maybe it's temporary. Maybe it'll go back. This is the establishment, for lack of a better term. They're not going to be like, oh, well, we had a good run. I mean, they'll adapt also. But maybe the adaptation will be that timidity is out.
Look.
So maybe we just, that's partly what, guys my age and older are, missing is that your way of thinking is taking over the world.
Yeah.
So that's exactly what I wanted to say earlier in our live coverage, because that's why I wanted to agree with both of you earlier on, even though you guys were disagreeing. From your perspective, Ben, and when I'm closer to your perspective, yeah, our whole lifetimes, Bernie Sanders would have never had a chance. You're right that, hey, Hillary Clinton runs this kind of campaign where she's aggressive and fights back against Bernie Sanders in some ways that we're used to. But Anna's right that this is a different time.
Yes.
And so you guys perceive it differently. And And we're right in the middle of that transition. That's why we have no idea who's going to win, Bernie Sanders or Hillary Clinton.
And I'll tell you why it's different. It's because there's more transparency because of technology now, right? Politicians used to be able to flip-flop as much as they wanted, and it was really difficult for them to get caught flip-flopping, right? By the way, adapting or evolving in your political views is totally okay, even when you're a politician, as long as you're sincere about that. But you can't, in one debate, say, what are you talking about? Money doesn't influence me. Money hasn't influenced me. Money has no influence, right? And then come out in a speech during the New Hampshire primaries and say, oh, I am the #1 advocate of getting money out of politics. No, well, which one is it? Is money in politics an issue? It seems like in the last debate you didn't think it was an issue at all. You can't flip-flop like that. But anyway, the thing about technology that I just want to quickly say is there are videos right now going viral on Facebook and on Twitter showing all the different instances of hypocrisy that Hillary Clinton was involved in. That's what people online are watching, right? And so the attacks against Bernie are not resonating because her attacks are below the belt. They're nonsense attacks saying that, oh, his supporters are sexist. That's your attack? I mean, attack him on the issues, on the policies.
And just, by the way, that 13-minute video that you're talking about, about all of Hillary Clinton's lies, hypocrisies, whatever you want to call it, no one on TV is ever going to see that.
Right.
Because TV will say, oh, that's too long a video. It's too long a video. We can't run that, right?
Yeah.
And so the older voters actually have much less information. Because I talked to a news executive about this from the old media, and they said, look, we got to go for a broad audience, so we can't dive into any of the specifics or the policies. You guys have an advantage online that you can do policy by policy. So the older voters have less info. And so if you're trying to compare who's the more progressive candidate, if you had all the information, that's not a contest. It's not that Hillary Clinton is not progressive. Ben, earlier in the night, made a good case for it. She made a good case for it. Her speech tonight was actually very, very strong. She said, look, I have a life of, I dedicated myself to a life of service. I've been doing this for a long time. The first thing I worked on, and I've worked on it throughout, is human rights. She's right about that. She says Citizens United, that was a case where Citizens United was trying to smear me, Hillary Clinton. Yeah. So, she made a strong case for it. But if you have all the information, you know that Bernie Sanders is more progressive. He has a 40-year history of being the most progressive senator and congressman in all of Washington. So it's a different time. The question is, will Hillary Clinton's adaptation tonight work? Will she be able to get enough older voters, who will say, oh, okay, they didn't see all the debates. They didn't see the transition. They'll just see the final product. By the time they see the final product, she might have enough strength, money, numbers, etc., to still win this thing. But I'll tell you, I've been saying it for a couple of weeks now, even if Hillary Clinton wins this and one of the establishment candidates wins the presidency, this is the last election the establishment will win. They might not win this one, but if they win it, it'll be the last because people are sick of this.